aerospace industry, electronic industry, and Mexico became a hub, a quite important manufacturing country, not only because our condition of developing country, of course it counts, but basically because of people and our young engineers. So we advance on that. We try to help the people. So the minister, some people talk about the government needs to ease the way to small business or whatever. What we did is we organized the government. At the beginning, you need to go from one office, foreign relations office, to get the name of your company, to economic office, to treasury office, to tax office, to social security office. Well, we decided to complete all of those procedures, at least at federal level, in one single software. So what it takes at the beginning, it took at the beginning almost 60 days to complete all the procedures to open a new office or a new company. At the end of my tenure, it took only 10 days to open one company and fulfill the federal regulation. We organized a contest among the people. Open question for anyone. What could be the most useless procedure in government? The most stupid procedure to say, no? So the people started to participate, and we received almost 4,000 answers. 4,000 participants saying this procedure, that procedure, those procedures. Well, we got, of course, there was a champion. It's a woman that requires almost 1.5 months to get one medicine because she requires several signatures in different levels of government. So, but that information allow us to know what we need to change in the government, and we did. So, we deregulated the economy. We eliminated 16,000 federal rules at federal level. It's almost the half of all the rules at federal government. What else? We had some results. For instance, we were able to reduce the deficit, paying the political costs, increasing revenues, reducing expenditures. And in 2012, Mexico had less than 1% of GDP in deficit and one of the lowest in the OECD countries. The same with the debt. We reduced the ratio between debt and GDP to 33%, again, one of the lowest of the OECD countries, actually at that year, the lowest of all of them. What about competitiveness? The World Bank, for instance, has a quite important index, competitiveness index. We advanced, the name is Doing Business Index. We advanced from the place 73 to the place 53 in this 6th year. And some of the examples of how we gain competitiveness are in clear outcome in industry. Manufacturing goods, for instance. I know how important it is for Nigeria, as it is for Mexico, to increase productivity in agriculture, and it's quite important. But we need to understand that as long as you can get traction and be more developed country, as long as you are developing yourself and your people, there will be more aggregated value in the different stages of the economy. So there will be more aggregated value in industry, and there more aggregated value in some services. But even though we develop a quite important, having a very heavy economy in the agricultural field, we developed the industry and manufacturing. And Mexico became the powerhouse of manufacturing in Latin American and Caribbean region. We are exporting 60% of the total manufactured products in the region, including Brazil or Argentina, 60%. And one of the industries, as Dr. said, was the automotive industry. When I took office, Mexico was the 9th largest exporter of vehicles in the world. When I left office, Mexico was the 4th largest exporter of vehicles in the world, surpassing the UK, the United States, Spain. We will be the 3rd largest exporter of vehicles in the world, I'm very sure, in the future. So it is possible to change the competitiveness of your economy and your industry. The economy recovered. You can see the incredible impact of the recession in red. But afterwards, the Mexican economy got some high rates, about 4%, 5% in the years afterwards. So there was a moment in which Mexico looks like a failed state, but now they started to recognize the effort. So Forbes started to talk about Mexican miracle. It was when the expression moment of Mexico was coined. Or these economies, the front page of the Economist in November 2012, talking about the rise of Mexico. Well, honestly, I don't like those hats. It's not exactly Mexican hat, but anyway, it's like a British humor, let's say, no? But it was quite important change. Now, the big question after these experiences, what explained the success of a nation? And there are a lot of answers, honestly. Anyone could have an opinion. For instance, some say that it's the geography, exactly. Is the strategic position you have? Could be. It's about the culture. It's about the values. It's about the religion. Or it's about the capacity or ability of the leaders of the country. Or it's about natural resources. We, countries with huge natural resources like Nigeria, Mexico, we know that it's not enough to have natural resources. And actually, there are countries like Singapore, for instance, with nothing at all. When Singapore was declared independent, its prime minister announced the measure crying on the TV, crying, because they had not, forget about oil, they had not agricultural field, they had not drinking water, no natural resources. And what's happening with Singapore is one of the most powerful and growing nations in the world right now. So what explains the growth? What explains the development? One of my favorite theories is written by Acemoglu and Robinson. And they talk about that the key issue are the institutions, meaning the practice, the way in which a country or a people address their problem and fix their problems. What are the practices? Are they honest practices? Are they corrupt practices? Are they different? So they established two categories of practices. One is, in the economy, for instance, if you have either extractive or inclusive institutions. What are the extractive institutions? Monopolies, public or private, they are extractive. They are taking the rent from the people to very few, even the government. What else? Rent-seeking unions. I believe in the right of the workers to have unions, powerful unions. But there is a limit in which those organizations or the leaders of some of them becoming more rent-extracting people than really believing in the rights of the members. Heavy bureaucracy. Heavy bureaucracy is that extracting rent institution. Organized crime is extracting rent institution. It's taking the money from the people through violence or threatening the people. So the people are working not for their families, but for the criminals, because they had no option. And what are the inclusive institutions we have? Private property, economic freedom, free trade, public security, and rule of law. That is crucial. So I can say that all those nations, all those countries that create the economic incentives to invest, to work, to save, those countries will prosper. If an economy or government or country doesn't allow the people to enjoy the benefit of invest, to enjoy the benefit of work, to enjoy the benefit of save, that country will never prosper. That could be a rule of thumb. What about politics? The institution extracted by concentration of power